Now it seems that AI is just LLMs, right? There's no more machine learning, there's no more XGBoost, there is nothing more. No one is using that anymore. I mean, I think that the imagination, the creativity, how we take the decisions, that will be all, that will be in the humans.
These agents are going to replace humans, and the future of work is going to be, not on-site, not remote, not hybrid, but rather, I would say, agentic.
Each person or each worker will use an agent to perform something, or will be agents working with agents. And we are not realizing, but we've been doing this change or migration over the last 5 years. Some kind of jobs that will be more impacted or benefited. All the workforce or how we see the work today will change. It will not be the same as we've seen in the last 2 years or 3 years. What we do today is not the same thing that we will be doing tomorrow.
Hello everyone, welcome to BetterTech. So today I have a guest with me, Eze. Hello Eze, how are you today?
Hello, Haseeb. Thank you so much. Doing good. A pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for joining. So Eze, before we really get started, can you quickly do a debrief or a quick summary about yourself, your career, its progression, how you have reached where you are today?
Sure. Yes. Well, my name is Ezequiel Lanza. My role now is open source AI evangelist, and they call it DevRel, developer advocate. It's the same. It's the same kind of job at Intel. So I'm mainly working with open source actually. How I ended up in this role, I would say I've been working with AI in the last 10 years, 8 years, even before ChatGPT, right? With the NLP, classic NLPs, and this thing that probably was a bit complicated in the past. But I always did very technical career. I mean, I have a CS engineering degree. I've been working on pre-sales implementations. I mean, implementations, pre-sales, post-sales, bunch of the tech, a lot of the on the technical side. I started to switch to the consultant side when I was in pre-sales, and I started to feel that hey, I left this kind of place to be in the middle, right? To be the technical guy, but also to be the person that can talk to customers, can enjoy teaching things, or doing more in the marketing-ish side, let's say. And I had this opportunity to switch to a DevRel 4 years ago. And I said, why not? I mean, it's like a perfect fit for me to be in the middle, being technical, but teaching, explaining things to people. And I think that having a technical background for that kind of roles are very important. Because sometimes it's very weird. Sometimes we have more marketing that are in this side, and sometimes we have more technical people that move to this role. So I wanted to keep doing both strong technical, but a strong conversation. I enjoy doing all the public speaking, events, conference, workshops, live streamings, whatever. Yeah, and I've been doing that for 4 years, so I'm really enjoying that. And I think I will keep doing for a long time. I mean, you never know, right? But
Yeah,
at least.
yeah, for sure. For you. You don't know what future will have for you. But certainly, my question really is that since you have been into AI for quite long, how do you see this evolution happening?
Yeah. I mean, that's actually a good question and a funny question. Now it seems that AI is just LLMs, right? There's no more machine learning, there's no more XGBoost, there is nothing more. No one is using that anymore. And I think that I'm always more on the applied side on how to actually take an action or how to actually use that. And I see that the evolution is great. I also see that there is a lot of things that are still being used in classical methods, like decision trees or something basic, right? But what can sound basic, sometimes you don't need a Ferrari to grow and do your groceries, right? So there is a bit of extremely confidence that with you can do everything with LLMs and you can agents or whatever. I see that the evolution is more going through agents more than just being with LLMs more specifically. But I mean, I've been talking with customers, for instance, or with people that is working with banks or they are working in healthcare, and they're still using methods and that are classic. I mean, machine learning, deep learning, they're still using those methods because it depends on where in the curve you are, right? If you are more creative, or if you're more, you just adopt the technology once it's mature. And for LLMs, there are multiple things that some companies say, I think I can do it easily or best using other tools. But slowly, I see that that there is a growing adoption on simple things to use LLMs, or because the guardrails and how to control it. Companies are actually, it's great for us to play a bit, right? So we can have something to create something fun for us and so on. But once we really start working with money and we say, hey, I would like to put the money to create a system using an LLM, you need to you need to be very sure that you trust in the technology that you are using. I see that it's growing, of course, but I see that there is a lot of still people using it. Replaces, for instance, NLP completely, right? But some of the others examples, I see that there's a lot of still of adoption still for computer vision, for instance, right? Computer vision is a very classic, simple things to be used and adopted, and now it's started to grow and grow and grow more because it's getting mature and mature and more mature. So I think that that's kind of this, like the path. We do something really new, we start to optimize it to make it fun, to make it usable, and we are still in the LMs, I think, in the explosion part.
Sure, sure. So, in your, I mean, answer to the prior question, you touched upon AI agents, which is a pretty hot topic these days. So, if you would have to just summarize or maybe explain in layman terms to someone who is like not very tech savvy about what an AI agent really is, how would you define that in your own words?
Yeah, I'd say that an agent is what will connect the LLM or a physical or a static LLM to the external world, or to perform executions or to perform tasks, for instance. There are way more things, but the concept is basically you have an LLM that is just a chatbot that can answer your question, or say black and white or whatever, right? But with an agent, you would like to say, okay, I would like to make a question, but I will also would like to go and search that answer on the internet. Something very simple, but just the concept is now something, which is the agent, will go, we scrap the internet, we get an answer, we'll make some reasoning, some logic, we'll make some understanding, and that will be fed to the LLM, and the LLM will give you the answer. That will be
Mm-hmm.
something very simple. But that can also be a tool that is executing something in your machine. I don't know, you start saying, remove this spreadsheet for me, and you can have an agent that can access to your computer and can perform an action. It's a kind of try to give to make the LLMs to connect to the external world, because that's the main problem we have with LLMs for me. Is the LLMs are fixed, are static. And that's another trend that if you seen 4 years ago, most companies are starting to compete about, hey, my LLM is the smartest, my LLM is the biggest, and so on and so on and so on. And now that can be true and can be useful, but actually it doesn't work for my little problem, for my personal problem. For my personal company, I need something to connect to my tools. And that's when agents can start to enable the LLMs to actually start being used in your environment. So privacy, I mean, tons of things, right?
So, so with the introduction of this agentic I mean, how do you see businesses basically transforming their automation and workflows? I mean, have you like see that happening? Do you see it's more in the future, or do you see like it has already started? What would you say to that?
I mean, I'd say that is starting to be used. I think that the big challenge with agents is we need to control them. Because one thing is if you have an LLM or a chatbot that can give you an answer or can give you an instruction, that instruction is incorrect. And a different thing is if you have an agent that is changing field in your SQL database
Mm-hmm.
and that is in production, let's say, and you really need to be sure that what you are changing it's
It's
correct.
the correct
So
one, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to have an agent to change my entire production just to change one field, because it happens even with us, right? So if you go to it, it happens. It happens. I mean, something wrong in your query can delete your entire SQL. So adding those mechanisms and how you can control them and how you can make them to talk each other, like the multiple agents, hierarchy, how they talk and so on. I think that is still very green. I mean, it's growing exponentially, right? I see that the interest in something that I didn't see, for instance, in 2 years. by now or 1 year. I see that now there's a lot of interest is on start to using. I still feel this fear on. I need to control them. I need to find a best way to be sure. Control. I mean, reinforcement. Whatever. Right. Also with the MCP. The MCP, that protocol is pretty new, so there's a tons of new things. I've seen excitement from companies and from partners and from people,
Mm-hmm.
but I also feel that is a lot of fear. It happens also to me with I don't know if you use Cursor or all these IDs that you can say, hey, clone this repo, do this for me, and that agent is reasoning what you have and is doing something on GitHub or Copilot, and it can broke your code. That means my code. Nothing happens. But again, if that is in a production environment, I really need to be sure that that works.
So, I mean, with the help of these agents in their, I mean, in systems, automating workflows, defining automation, and all these things, what do you see as the future of work? I mean, there's a debate going on. I mean, it has been like quite some time that the debate is there that these agents are going to replace humans, and the future of work is going to be, I mean, not on site, not remote, not hybrid, but rather, I would say, agentic. So,
Agentic.
how do you see that?
I see that that will be a change. It will be obvious that all the workforce or how we see the work today will change. It will not be the same as we've seen in the last 2 years or 3 years. And it's changing in the last 10 years with the technology. Um, I I mean, roles will be reshaped. What we do today is not the same thing that we will be doing tomorrow. Um, there are some works that will be more, some kind of jobs that will be more impacted or benefited, right? Or they can have a huge benefit from AI and
Sure.
agents or LLMs. So I think that that's the correct mindset when we always talk about, hey, what will happen with the. This is not a movie when we have robots, right?
Yeah.
With us, right? Probably. But I think that the imagination, the creativity, how we take the decisions, that will be all that will be in the humans. But to take a decision, we have more tools. I mean, it's not a technical tool. It's a tool that can help you to give you some reasoning. It's just having. I mean, same thing as I always say when we are using Cursor again or the IDs. It's like having a junior developer with you working, and that will give you like a big idea, a good idea on how they can do something. And same for the others. So all the things will be reshaped. You probably don't need a person doing something because you have the tool that is doing that. But that person, you can use it to do another thing that could add more value to that technology or to the chain itself. I like the part of saying of thinking like the work evolution as an agentic, right? Each person or each worker will use an agent to perform something, or will be agents working with agents. And we are now realizing, but we've been doing this change or migration over the
Mm,
last 5 years, let's say, with
yeah.
computers and with
It's
everything. So
Yeah, I mean it's more structured now, I would say, with a better word maybe for this transformation. So I mean, Easy, you basically mentioned that you are speaker and you attend a lot of conferences, you interact with people. How do you see the adaptation coming? I mean, within developers especially. So, I mean, typically software engineers, they are accustomed to developing code in a certain way, and then they have a different thinking pattern through which they automate workflows, implement different routines, etc. But with the help of these, I mean, these new concepts in AI, which is like through prompt engineering and everything, where do you see the adaptability coming in? I mean, are people open to adapting this new age technology, or there is like some sort of friction to adapt to these, or there is like a consensus that it is, I mean, you need to learn this, or otherwise you will be out of the market? How do you see the general
mm.
sentiment?
I'd say that broadly it's accepted. Um, you see, I mean, how I see it is with people that I talk, for instance, they are all open or they are using any kind of AI assistance somehow.
One way or the
or
other.
it's like the Stack Overflow in the past. That if you don't know something, you go to Stack Overflow, or find an answer. It's not as good or as simple as ChatGPT that you just make a question or Copilot. But developers itself, we did it all the time.
Yep.
I see still a friction on some passionate developers that they don't like how AI think, or say I can do it better, or this is too long, which is good, it's fine. But I mean, but it gives you like a good. Uh, you you didn't start from scratch. You start from something,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
you start fine
I mean,
tuning.
yeah, I mean, the analogy really is that some developers still want to do coding in Notepad, Emacs, VI, and others. Rather, some people would prefer using VS Code or other uh, editors or other IDs, I would say. So it's really like, like I mean, comparison between doing things by hand or maybe be more productive and take help when
But
something appears.
you will realize as soon as you have a developer in your side that is delivering 5x what you are doing with the same quality, and you will realize that, hey, I need to use that because
Mm,
it's just every working job. If you have people that is delivering something in, I don't know, 2 hours, and you're taking 20 hours to deliver the same thing,
same thing, yeah.
you will say, I need to adapt myself. And it's not bad because you and it's something that we are doing now. But I see. I mean, I've heard some comments, and I some people say I don't like how it works. I trust on my recipe and so on. And you can also do that. You can say this is my style to write code, and the AI can give you like similar to your style. But I think that most of the 80%, I would say 85% with the people that I'm talking, they love to use those tools, and we are the first one to adopt those tools. Um, Even before, and the LLMs, the AI models, they work great with code.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. Yeah. So for AI, I mean, there's a lot of argument or discussion about the ethics involvement in AI. So, I mean, and responsibility too. And as we say, with greater power comes greater responsibility. So, how do you see ethics in AI? I mean, and what's the general perception in terms of be ethical while using or leveraging AI?
yes, I mean I've seen and probably that's a problem from technical or from our side, from the developers. We don't see that if you're not in a problem. I mean, if you if you say, "Hey, my model caused a problem," or "My solution caused a problem," now is when you will be starting to focus about the ethics or what you'll be doing. What I've
Mm,
seen is that there are tons of regulations, the EU Act, EU AI Act, and that is trying to put some terms that if you are
mm,
developing something on AI or you're selling something an AI system, you need to follow these rules. You need to say which data you are using. You need to say the ethics of your model. You need to be responsible on the answers that the model will be giving, and so on and so on and so on. So, but this is also starting now. I mean, the last year, EU AI Act, ethics AI, responsible AI, explainable AI, all those kind of topics that are pretty new, let's say, and they don't usually come specifically from developers or from technical. It's more on the regulations part, on the
mm,
responsibility part, lawyers, let's say. But I think that this is really key when we talk about. I don't want them to use my information if they are not giving me the credit. The models cannot be biased. I mean, all the things that we see in the past with the bias or something like that. Now we are starting to see some regulations on that,
mm.
but it's very new. It's very new. It's pretty green,
It will evolve.
and
It will evolve as the time will progress for
it
sure.
will evolve. And I think that is something that needs we as the developers we need to know what the rules are, or what the responsibilities are when we are creating something. It's not just I download a model from Hugging Face, I fine tune it, and I sell it.
Mm,
It cannot be like that. I think that there's a lot of education needed from the
yeah.
developer side, um, but it's still being created from the regulations. So
So, easy before we close. just like some closing remarks as where do you see the future of AI going, and how do you see it shaping up the world in general?
I mean, agents today, probably in 6 months, will be a different thing. I mean, if you made me this question 1 year ago, it was going to be RAG, the retrieval augmented generation.
Yeah, generation, yeah.
Um, but actually, I think that everything that connects the applications, or the AI with the external world, it's where it will have more success. Um, Even now, people say, "Why do I need an LLM? It's just for a chatbot." I don't need a chatbot. I don't want a
Mm,
chatbot. Well, but now it's not just a chatbot. Now it's a tool that can connect to your computer, to your laptop, to your enterprises, and can make solutions or can take decisions for you with the risks that we mentioned. But I think that will be evolving a lot, because that's when really people start to see the value of using AI. And in which companies or which verticals, I would love to see in healthcare way more. I know that healthcare is the most sensible topic, but I think that there's a lot of things that can be done on healthcare, finance, kind of too. I think that these are the two most. Customer experience is the most easy to use because it's the less impactful, but it's impactful because you're losing your customers, right? But
mhm,
you're not talking about lives. You're talking about just a customer that we are losing.
mm,
I might say that CX will be one of the first to be implemented. But I think I like to keep it real.
mm.
Talking about the AGI and this kind of super smart AIs, that will not happen in a while, right? So we need to be. I like to always think on the focus on the real things that we can do. It is now kind of agents with other models, but given something, and just to close with that I heard, and I love to say it every time we talk about the evolution, is that AI is like us, right? The AI is like, we have, when we started with computer vision, we had the eyes. Now with the LMs, we probably have the mouth and the language and so on. So it's all the senses we are starting to have it in AI. And I think that we're starting to be closer with the brain, kind of closer, but we have the senses. Agents will give you the senses. Will give you can touch things. You can be like this kind of interaction. AGI probably is the brain. I don't know, but that will be the normal evolution.
So, Easy, thank you very much for your time today. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and we will have you in the coming days as well on another very exciting topic, which will be tailored, or you can say dedicated to AI agents only. And we will pick your brains on that in greater detail for our audience. So, once
Absolutely.
again, thank you very much for your time today, and we hope to have you soon again on BetterTech.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for an invitation. Happy to be here, and yes, and happy to talk in the future too. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Appreciate
much,
it.
Easy. Have a good one.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.